All right, I am sorry. Welcome to Community Matters. This is your host, Becky Steinbruner. Time got a bit away from me here. Sign-in procedures changed a bit here at the studio, Santa Cruz Voice Studio, and I was trying to log in on our feature to allow callers, which I had hoped to include, especially in our first hour here. I did not accomplish that yet. So my apologies, and we'll try to get that fixed for next week. Welcome to Community Matters. I am Becky Steinbruner. I'm honored to be your host here from 2 to 4 every Friday afternoon in the Santa Cruz Voice Studio, which is within the Satellite Work and Digital Media Center that's located at 325 Soquel Avenue in Santa Cruz, between Ocean Street and the beautiful San Lorenzo River. If you are looking for a place to do some remote work, occasionally, regularly, whether it's just a home workstation, or maybe you have a small business that you operate primarily from your home, here is the place for you. It is the Satellite Digital Media Work and Digital Media Center. They have open work areas. They have rooms you can have for more privacy or small group meetings. You can even have your mail sent here if you want to have a post office box that may serve your needs. This is a very clean, very quiet, and very secure location, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. You can stop in anytime during business hours, and Olivia, the receptionist, will show you around. Again, it's at 325 Soquel Avenue in Santa Cruz. The second Wednesday of every month is free to come check it out and just see if it fits what you need. Satellite Work and Digital Media Center. We share this space with Santa Cruz Community Television, a gem in our community that records a lot of government meetings, so that if you can't make it to the County Board of Supervisors meeting on a 9 a.m. Tuesday, you can watch it still and hear. Rather than rely on written minutes, you can hear and watch what has been said and discussed. And believe me, that is a huge benefit to public government transparency and their accountability. So again, welcome to Community Matters. As I said, we are here every Friday from 2 to 4. The first hour I'm going to dedicate to continued conversation of the ongoing problem that we have in our area, in our state, in the country, really, but most notably here in the Monterey Bay area around the lithium-ion battery energy storage systems, known as BESS, B-E-S-S. And if I can try to get the call in, I will do so. I didn't have a confirmed guest, but encouraged people to call in and join the conversation. Unfortunately, what happened here at Santa Cruz Voice is all of the usual screens we have as hosts to get our programs up and running were deleted, and that's unfortunate, but not impossible, and I'm sure that it'll get put back pretty soon, certainly by next week. So my first hour will be that, and I'm going to continue to try to find the technology. I'm not seeing it in any of the bars for me to be able to hook up the telephone call in, so I apologize for that. My second hour guest will be, luckily, here in the studio, and that will be Miss Sarah Christensen. She is the Executive Officer of the Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission, known as the RTC. She'll be here talking with us from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. about the project that is on the table right now. There are many, but the passenger rail system that has just come out with a feasibility study and I believe is open for public comment. She'll be talking with us about that, about the Highway 1 expansion projects that are happening now and what is coming down the pike, so to speak, and also the trails, the pedestrian bicycle trails that are part of the rail corridor project, and also the overcrossing. Maybe you saw the whale crossing, as people call it, the overcrossing with a whale motif, actually opened up this week. I thought it was going to happen at the end of the month, but I saw people a couple of days ago riding their bikes and standing there looking at the freeway from that thing. So anyway, that's open now. And we'll hear more about that in the second hour that begins at 3:06 with our in-studio guest, Sarah Christensen. And I want to thank her. She's a very busy lady, and she's taking time to come in and join us this afternoon. So let me talk with you, and again, apologize for not having the ability at the moment for you to call in and join the conversation. And I'm very sorry. Things have just changed here on the screen, and the usual method and opportunity for me to hook that technology up is deleted from the screen. So that will not work today. But let me catch you up a little bit on what has been happening in Santa Cruz County, Monterey County, with the battery energy storage system, and what is coming up next week and the week beyond. So Monday evening, that was July 14th, the Never Again Moss Landing group, not in the evening, it was actually at 1:30 in the afternoon, the group held at the Prunedale Grange sort of a second in a series looking at the investigation of the January 16th and continuing Moss Landing Vistra fire, battery energy fire, that harmed so many people and has been handled in such a shockingly dismissive way. The governor did not declare an emergency when that fire happened. Monterey County did not declare a state of emergency when that fire happened, which is shocking to me. And what happened is the fire started on January 16th, burned for many days. People were evacuated for the first 24 hours and then told to just go home and keep their doors and windows closed. The EPA did not sample properly. They did not sample for the most toxic component of that, the hydrogen fluoride gas, that is lighter than air and goes up. When they did arrive finally, they sampled for that gas at ground level and then said, everything's fine. We don't detect any of this at all. It was the citizen group, Never Again Moss Landing, that came together with Tanya Rivera and Brian Roeder leading the organization of this group of people. And people like Mr. Ed Mitchell, who have joined in, and a host of others, but Ed Mitchell has joined in to really delve in and do an investigation. I had invited Mr. Mitchell really at the last minute to join us here today and did not hear. And it's a good thing because the technology is not available today for him to join us via telephone. But I hope to have him as my guest next Friday to catch us up with what he has learned about what caused the Vistra fire. What has he learned? As you may or may not know, the governor Governor Newsom demanded an investigation. The California Public Utilities Commission that regulates these facilities demanded an investigation. And so far, there has been nothing released to the public about the cause of that fire. But many people have been injured. Many people have had to leave their homes because when they return to their homes, it is so contaminated they cannot function. And yet those who are responsible for providing protection, for ensuring that things, rules are being followed, that testing's being done and reported, are simply not doing their job. And that includes the federal EPA, the California EPA, the County of Monterey. And to be here in Santa Cruz County, where the plume also traveled, Santa Cruz County really has done nothing. Santa Cruz County supervisors refuse to hold town halls with constituents. We all know that smoke and everything within it does not stop at a county border. And the plume did travel over Santa Cruz County. So I'm hoping to get Mr. Ed Mitchell on here as my guest next Friday. I continue to talk about this issue every week because it is so important. So many people have been injured. And the fact that Monterey County and Santa Cruz County are continuing to allow and in fact support more of the battery energy storage system facilities, the BESS facilities, to be built and operational using lithium technology, maybe a slightly different chemistry, but the same lithium batteries that are prone to fire and explosion. And our counties are supporting this and not talking with the people, refusing to hold town hall meetings. And so I really want to take my hat off to the grassroots groups who are doing that job. Never Again Moss Landing. Look up their website, neveragainmosslanding.org. And now I'd like to pivot to an event that happened last night that was organized by another grassroots group, Stop Lithium BESS, Battery Energy Storage Systems in Santa Cruz County. That group is a grassroots group. And there's another one that is the smaller and less active, but they commingle. And that's Clean, Safe Energy Storage for California. That's a separate group, but many of us also are part of the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County group. That group, the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County, was initiated by Nina and Greg Adino. After hearing last October the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors discuss and approve 3 potential sites for these lithium battery containers in Santa Cruz County. Those 3 sites, one at 19 Minto Road off of Green Valley in Watsonville. The second one, Aptos, at a substation. Energy made that goal to promise to their customers. 3CE began in operation in 2017. 3CE expanded to become now, it was first Monterey Bay Community Power, started by Supervisor Bruce McPherson and Carlos Palacios, our county's administrative officer. They had others too. But they were the movers and shakers, along with Supervisor McPherson's analyst, Miss Ginny Johnson. They were the movers and shakers to get this off the ground. And it has since expanded to other counties all the way down, and cities all the way down to Santa Barbara. And they changed their name to accommodate that expansion. The name is now Central Coast Community Energy, or 3CE. When 3CE, or Monterey Bay Community Power, as it was known then, started up in 2017, if you did not opt out, you were automatically made a customer of theirs. And that is why 93, maybe 95% of the customers in Santa Cruz County are 3CE customers. You didn't really have a choice. Or if you did, maybe you didn't know it. So you can opt out. You can still opt out. And that is exactly what we discussed last night at the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County public meeting at Live Oak Swim Center. Because here's why we are urging people to opt out of 3CE. 3CE has adopted this crazy goal of 100% renewable energy in 5 years from now, 2030. And that's to serve their own economic interest, to serve their own marketing tool for their company. 3CE has not been transparent with the public to admit that they support lithium battery energy storage systems. 3CE did not divulge to the public, as we have been attending their board meetings, which are open to the public. You can find them when they're going to happen on the 3CE website, and just use that as a Google search term, or whichever search you use. A search term, 3CE Power California, and it'll come up. And you can go to the board meetings and agendas. And since the Moss Landing fire happened, people have been going to their board meetings and urging them to not support the lithium technology. And it was only through the astute research of Miss Nina Adino that it became known at a recent Santa Cruz County Commission on the Environment meeting, when they were talking about this issue of battery storage publicly. And one of the staff members from 3CE was there giving a presentation. Miss Nina Adino said, well, tell us about the Clearway project in Monterey County. Why has 3CE continuing to support lithium-ion battery construction in our area? This is the Holman BESS project with Clearway. And the man, Mr. Dyke O'Neill, stammered. He stammered and said, that's public knowledge. That's public knowledge, part of the record. Well, it is, but you have to know that it happened to go looking for it, don't you? And certainly 3CE has never admitted any of that to the people who have continually been showing up and asking this question: do you support lithium or do you not? Please do not. Aren't you liable for the damage to these, to the people, to the environment, by lithium if you support it? And they just don't answer. They just don't answer. And they never respond. Never respond in writing or verbal. So thanks to Nina Adino for finding this, because it is now obvious that 3CE does support lithium. And they are supporting new lithium battery energy storage systems in Monterey County, and maybe in Santa Cruz County too. We just haven't found the date. You can look it up. It was last November when 3CE board, on their consent agenda, approved a special agreement with Holman BESS LLC to fund and support the Clearway Energy Storage Project in Monterey County. So what we're recommending is that everybody opt out of 3CE in boycott. We need to boycott them because that's the only way we're going to get their attention. It's the only way that we're going to get the county's attention, because believe you me, the two are braided together. If you look at the Santa Cruz County Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, which is the county's blueprint for what will happen in this county to be better environmental stewards. In the energy section, it talks about how 3CE is the leader for the county in energy storage projects. And if all projects are only focused on 3CE, well, what about PG&E? The county's project does not even mention PG&E. The county's climate action plan does not mention PG&E only in the context of the power safety shutoffs. That's it. So the county and 3CE are one. Neither of those agencies is paying attention to the people, and the only way that the people are going to get them to pay attention is to hit them in the pocketbook. And that's going to require people who are 3CE customers to opt out of being 3CE customers. And you can do it. You can do it online. Go to the 3ceenergy.org, and you have to Google opt out. You have to search for opt out, because if you just go to their website, you don't see it. But if you use as a search term opt out 3CE, it comes up. And it talks about the different facilities, and if you're still interested in opting out, here's how you do it. So do it. You can do it online. You have to provide your account number from your bill, and you have to agree to be customers of PG&E for 1 year. And if you're a resident, residential customers have to pay $5. Commercial customers have to pay $25. But opt out and tell them why. That's the important piece. You can also do it by phone. And here's the phone number. It's on the website, but I'll give it to you now. It's 1-877-455-2223. Again, 1-877-455-2223. That's the number to call during business hours to opt out of 3CE. Now, I received, we opted out early on because it just seemed like a pretty shady deal to us, our family. And but I have talked with people who have elected to opt out, having been a 3CE customer. 3CE just raised their rates, by the way. And now we received a card, understanding your energy choice. And guess what? It's the same, or virtually the same cost for PG&E as it is for 3CE. The cost is the same. The difference is that 3CE claims their power is from renewable sources. And on the card it shows 55.8% comes from renewable sources. PG&E is 22.9%. But if you go down to the bottom, 3CE says 43.8% of their power comes from unspecified sources. So that's defined as electricity that is not traceable to a specific generating facility, such as electricity traded through open market transactions, unspecified sources of power are typically a mix of all resource types and may include renewables. So many people feel good about being a 3CE customer because it is maybe more environmentally friendly, but maybe not. Think about the cost and the risk of these battery energy storage facilities. Think about what happened in Moss Landing. Think about what could happen at Minto Road with over 300 storage containers filled with lithium batteries. And that is what our county and what 3CE is pushing. So opt out of 3CE and tell them you are doing it as a boycott of lithium battery technology, and you will not return as a customer until they adopt a moratorium on lithium battery technology. Do that today and send a letter to the board letting them know. And here's why. Because the board, I attended their executive board meeting a couple of weeks ago, and it's already beginning to happen, and they are worried. They are worried because they are in debt for a lot of projects that they have signed on to. Some of them are lithium. And if they don't know that you are opting out of their service because of their actions of not being accountable to the people, not being transparent with the people about their policies regarding lithium-ion battery storage, then they need to know, and they need to adopt a moratorium. The Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County group had letters available at the meeting last night, and I do believe that they are posted on the website in English and in Spanish. So please talk with your neighbors and take that action yourself today. It will make a difference. Boycott Central Coast Community Energy. It would be good to do against PG&E too, but as I have pointed out, PG&E is so huge, it's harder to take an action. 3CE is more local, and they have to take an action if enough of their customers demand it, with a boycott and opting out. So please do that today. You're listening to Community Matters. I'm honored to be your host here, Becky Steinbruner. I'm going to wrap up here in a little bit. And the second hour, I hope you will stay listening, is I will have an in-studio guest, Miss Sarah Christensen, and she is the manager, the CEO of Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission, the RTC. She'll be talking with us about the zero emission transportation, passenger rail transportation project, the highway widening that we're all seeing and suffering through. But I think it's going to make it all better. I'm very curious about the pedestrian overcrossings that are wrapping up and now open. The Whale Motif one is now open, but there's a second one being planned and soon constructed in Aptos. The segment 12 that is the area between State Park Drive and Freedom Boulevard is the one that is going to be most curious to watch, because there are a number of train crossings over highway, two over Highway 1 and one, I believe, over SoCal Drive next to Aptos Village, over Aptos Creek. And there will be separate bridges built in all of those. So we'll hear more about all of that in the second hour from Sarah Christensen, RTC Executive Officer. So stay tuned. And I am very apologetic. The technology for being able to call in has disappeared, at least as near as I can see, from our operation board here at the studio. So I am just very sorry. I'll try to have that ready and back up for next week, but unfortunately, you will not be able to call in now and likely not in the second hour unless a staff member from Santa Cruz Voice pops in during the break and helps me establish the call in ability here. So, to wrap up here, regarding the battery energy storage situation, we all need to opt out, if you haven't already, opt out of 3CE. What's coming up next week will be the State Fire Marshal Battery Energy Storage System Code Regulation Update Symposium. I'm going to go up in person to Sacramento to that because I want to talk with people and I want to be able to have my questions answered. I will tell you that I participated remotely in Monday's day-long 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. PG&E symposium on this and asked remote questions in the chat, and they were not asked. The moderator did not ask them, but I noted that all of the people who were in the conference room, the site, had their questions addressed, and that's where I want to be. And I want to talk with people. So I'm going to attend that next week, and I will report to you next Friday what I learned. Also coming up in the near future is the Santa Cruz County Commission on the Environment, second of 3 public meetings regarding battery energy storage systems in this county. That will be, the second one will be July 30th at 5 p.m. That will be in the 701 Ocean Street, 5th floor, County Board of Supervisors chambers. And they also have a remote participation available. I do not believe that the agenda has yet been posted, but the issues will be battery safety and siting issues coming up. There will be a third one in August, the end of August as well, and supposedly the speakers are all set for that. The Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County group will also be having another town hall meeting in August, and that is to be determined, and I will bring you that information as soon as I know it. But if you look on that wonderful website, Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County, you'll find information about that and other topics as soon as it is known. And I want to thank all of the people who are working so hard to get this information out to the people. Our county supervisors are failing us, and we must demand that they hold town hall meetings about this, implement a moratorium on lithium battery energy storage grid scale projects in our county, and convene a panel of experts. I left everything set up from the previous, so you could be there or here, whatever you
where I
prefer.
sat last time.
Okay, excellent. you here.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
just tap
That's-
water.
Yeah.
And these are for you. Thank you
Aw.
so much.
No
It's
need
a big
to-
effort to come in, and you're so busy.
My
so-
office is really close by,
Yeah.
don't worry. And then I'm heading home after this and
Oh, good.
starting my weekend.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah, it's
Well,
Friday
I
afternoon.
appreciate it very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something happened here at the studio, and so all of the usual programs we have on our screen to link things up got erased.
Oh, no.
So we can go on the air, but I can't have people call in.
Oh,
So
oh no.
that's a bummer.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I have looked. Let me see if I can find. And I want to assure you, I'm not gonna jump into Mr. Steinberg's
Please.
thing.
I
I'm not.
I hope
No, I'm not
that
gonna
doesn't
go
come
there
up.
because that's a whole private thing. And it was actually my husband that wanted to know about the steam train thing. He really wanted that, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I just haven't heard anything about it, and
Uh-huh.
you know, sometimes we do get these kind of proposals. We've never really had one come to fruition because it's
Yeah. It came
It's
through actually a few years ago.
Oh,
Golden
okay.
Gate Steam Railroad Museum approached the RTC
Okay.
to have facilities here, and they had talked it up with Roaring Camp, and Roaring Camp
Right.
was really happy about
Yeah.
it. But something fell through at the very end. We went to the one public meeting that the museum people had, and it was gonna be. It sounded like it was gonna be wonderful. You know, they could do the repairs and certifications for Roaring Camp.
Mm.
They could have educational, science-based things about steam technology and building it with history.
Oh wow.
And it just sounded wonderful. And they would run one excursion a month and time it with, big events like the Wharf to Wharf or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But it fell through. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's hard to get things done along the rail line.
Yeah,
It's complex,
Yeah.
challenging. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Under a lot of
We have a lot going on.
stress.
It's an exciting time. It's just, yeah, I've been able to balance it out, you know. Still have a lot of good family time. And I took a little vacation with my family a couple weeks ago, so that was nice. Yeah. I'm making it
Excellent.
work. Yeah.
Excellent. It's a good balance to keep. I'm just checking these little icons on the bottom. It's just not there. I don't know what happened. I'm very sorry.
No, it's
Were
okay.
you
Don't worry
relying?
about
Were
it.
you hoping someone
No,
would call?
I'm just, yeah,
I
I'm
think
here
we
to.
have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
Really.
Yeah,
So,
it's just good to get. I mean, it's information to get out to
Yeah.
a different, media. Like, there's not a lot of radio. I've done a couple radio interviews, but it's not very common. I do a lot of calling to the reporters and stuff, and every so often, like the other type of, on-camera interviews and things like that. But not very often I do radio.
Radio.
So.
well,
Why
if
not?
you'd like, it's so unfortunate. KSCO has kind of gone a whole different way.
Yeah, I did an interview with them a while ago, like right after I started.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's one program that's very popular. We'll be on the air in 30 seconds, but
Okay.
it's called Flight 1080. They're on from 4 until 6 at KSCO. And maybe you could get on there. I don't know which. We'll do a test. Do you want to? You'll need to get it close. You want to test?
Test. Do I need these?
Only, no, you won't. You won't, because you only have to do that if someone calls in. Okay, ready? Here we go. And welcome back to Community Matters. I'm your host, Becky Steinbrunner. I'm honored to be here with you for another hour. And I hope that you appreciated the recap of the Santa Cruz County BES situation in the first hour. I'm honored to have here in the studio with me my guest, Miss Sarah Christensen from the Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Becky.
Wow.
Thanks
Can
for
you
having me.
speak a little bit more? We'll do a sound check here again. Can you speak again, please?
Test,
Test.
test,
Oh, try again, please.
test.
There we are.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Thanks for having me, Becky.
My pleasure, indeed. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the studio. It's always the best to have in-person interviews, and I really appreciate your effort and all that you're doing out there. Start off, please, by telling us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure. Well, I was actually born and raised in Santa Cruz. I went to school and studied civil and environmental engineering. I got a master's in transportation management and started my career in engineering and consulting for clients across the state, mainly in the Bay Area. But I always wanted to move back home to Santa Cruz. And so I had the opportunity to do that in 2017. I came back home to Santa Cruz and joined the Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission as the senior engineer to deliver Measure D projects after the 2016 Measure D passed. And boy, have we done a lot since then.
Yeah.
So I've managed the Highway 1 projects and programs that are now we're seeing the first phase of that opening and coming to fruition after the 2016 measure. So it's really an exciting time today. Let's see. And then I was appointed to the executive director role back in September. So I'm coming up on almost a year.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
thank you.
That's a huge job.
Yeah.
I really take my hat off to you for managing it all.
Thank you.
So thank you. Tell us a little bit about what is the Regional Transportation Commission? Is it required to be here, and does every county have one?
Yeah, the every region does have a regional transportation planning agency that is in charge of long range planning for the region. We receive and were formed after the Transportation Development Act, which was a state law in it was 1973. And, that was a source of revenue for transportation planning. So it's a quarter-cent statewide. It's TDA funds, Transportation Development Act funds. So we've been a planning agency since that time. And every region does have an agency like ours that's required to do the long-range planning. So the Regional Transportation Plan is the RTP is our long-range plan. And then we do a lot of other types of planning work that, meets our requirement as the RTPA or the planning agency for the region. But what makes our agency a little bit unique is that we also own property. So we own the branch rail line that we purchased back in 2012. And then we also administer our half-cent sales tax measure for transportation, which we're very fortunate to have. And that's why a lot of our transportation improvements are coming to fruition and being delivered, is because the voters of our county voted to tax ourselves to pay for, transportation improvements like the highway improvements, the coastal rail trail, road rehabilitation, and additional funds for Metro for their operations.
Yeah.
Paratransit. So we're really fortunate to have that Measure D in place, and that's allowing us to be able to do all the incredible projects that we're working on.
Yeah, and getting some unprecedented funding from the state, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
I would love to talk about that. So Measure D, again, not every county in the state has a self-help measure in place. So we're very fortunate. We're one of a handful of counties that has a half a cent. And that money, we basically use that money to advance our projects and get them construction ready. And then if you have your projects construction ready, they're more competitive for state and federal grant funds. And so we have kind of leveraged our Measure D funds to bring in an unprecedented amount of resources to our region proportionally across the state. I mean, we took home, I think, 20% of the available statewide funding.
Wow.
And we are a very small county.
Yeah, the second smallest in the state.
Exactly. So we're getting kind of more of our fair share, but it's all because of the types of projects that our community prioritizes, which are sustainable projects like active transportation projects, not just road widening projects, right? So elsewhere, say Central Valley, you know, maybe their priority is just adding lanes, right? But we're taking a more sustainable approach and, you know, building projects like bicycle and pedestrian bridges, the Coastal Rail Trail. That's really unique and multimodal. And our multimodal approach paired with having the Measure D has really gotten us to where we've, you know, that's why we're getting so many competitive grants. And so the last one we just got, which was at the end of June, was $128.7 million.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest grant we've ever received.
Yeah.
And it funds a whole slew of transportation improvements throughout the county between Watsonville and Santa Cruz. It includes rapid improvements for Metro, so platforms and improvements to their bus stations and real-time displays, transit signal priority infrastructure. So it was about $11 million for that. About $21 million is going to fund SoCal Drive improvements. So if you have been out on SoCal Drive between, you know, Santa Cruz and Aptos, you could see it looks like a brand new road, and there's all new traffic signals that are all synchronized. And bicycle, you know, buffered and protected bike lanes and green paint. And so the grant we just received would extend that from State Park Drive all the way to Freedom Boulevard, another 2.5 miles or so along SoCal Drive. So that's about $21 million and that's a county project.
Oh.
And then the rest goes toward our Highway 1, the phase 3 of Highway 1, which hasn't started construction, obviously. So the construction that you see out there today ends at State Park Drive. The grant that we were just awarded is for the project between State Park Drive all the way to Freedom Boulevard. And that's kind of the most constrained part of our county, right in the middle of our county. And this project's really, truly going to be transformative, not just for the Aptos area, but for the entire region, because it's such a pinch point for cross-county travel right in that Aptos Village area.
That has been historically the case. If you talk with Sandy Leiden,
yeah.
you know, he has many stories about that area being a pinch point. So when might that work begin, that piece?
We are scheduled to start construction in 2027.
Ah, okay. And I assume that will begin once what we're seeing now is completed. Is that how it's going to work, or will they blend?
Yeah, so the construction all the way to State Park Drive, that project will be done. It's scheduled to be done at the end of 2026.
Ah, okay.
So it won't, I don't think it will overlap. It might.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there will be a new pedestrian overcrossing as part of that. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
So there's actually 2 bridges going up. The Capitola Avenue Bridge, which you could see being built right now. And then they are working on the foundation work for the Mar Vista pedestrian and bicycle overcrossing. And that bridge will be similar to the Whale Bridge or the Chanticleer bicycle pedestrian overcrossing.
Yeah.
but a little bit different with aesthetics. So it's gonna have it won't have whales. It will have we're calling it the misty redwood theme with kind of like a fog line with redwood trees. But similar aesthetics with we might as well make it look nice with
Yeah.
we're gonna have to look at it for the next probably 50 years, so
Hopefully longer.
yeah, and make low cost investments into aesthetics. It really makes it special. And
Yeah.
so the Capitola Avenue Bridge will say Capitola on it,
Oh.
and it will have starfish kind of staying
Oh,
with the
very
marine
good.
theme, and then the Mar Vista Bridge will have the misty redwood theme, and that's going up they go from the ground up, so they're just starting on the foundations, and they'll work their way up, and it should be done probably end of 2026, I would say. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Interesting. The whale overcrossing, I call it. I like that motif. It opened up this week.
It did. We removed the gates on Tuesday, and I was able to walk across it for the first time without my hard hat. And there were quite a few people up there, and people were in great spirits, and it seems like the community is really excited about it. We're actually hosting a ribbon cutting celebration for the community to kind of commemorate this moment of opening this big, beautiful, piece of infrastructure that the community is going to be able to enjoy for, decades to come. So July 30th, it's a Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. And
Alright.
it's going to be on the SoCal Avenue side of the bridge. There's a little parking lot underneath the bridge, kind of on the how do I orient this? Like the east side of the West Marine parking lot.
yes.
There's a smaller parking lot. It's going to be
Yeah.
at that location.
Kind of near where I think Staples and that whole area.
Right.
Great.
So yeah, we'll have signage, and we'll have free bike valet and
Oh, fun.
giveaways, and it'll be a great community celebration.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. And I have wondered, was that built to be able to accommodate, say, emergency vehicles, like an ambulance? Could they drive over that if need be?
So pedestrian and bicycle bridges are designed to, like the loading is designed for maintenance trucks. So it's not intended to serve, obviously, emergency vehicles, but,
If
for
something
maintenance.
were happened in Highway 1 were closed, and could it be used?
I don't think that would
Okay.
probably not.
It looks so sturdy,
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, from a loading standpoint, it probably could, but it's a bicycle and pedestrian overcrossing. It's not intended to serve any kind of vehicular traffic. Yeah,
Except the maintenance vehicles.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's good to know.
yeah.
Well, I look forward to that July 30th event, and I was surprised to see people up there waving at the traffic and all of that
Yeah.
a couple of days ago. So we can expect another one like that in Aptos. When is the Chanticleer overcrossing? Not the Chanticleer, but the Capitola Avenue. When is that scheduled to be done?
We're hoping to open that by the end of this calendar year.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a little delay with some of you could see the retaining walls on both sides. The bridge was ready to move forward, but the retaining walls, we had a few little things that came up that were unforeseen that caused a little delay. So it's taken a couple months longer than we originally scheduled. But we'll open it when it's ready to open, in advance of the rest of the project, right? So they'll still be working on the roadway, the highway improvements. But
Yeah.
when the bridge is done, we'll open it.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
neat. I have noticed it's a very wet area. There's a lot of like a high water table or perched water table maybe there.
And it's like that. I feel like it's like that everywhere in our county. Everywhere, every time we dig and try to build projects, we have to design for that.
Huh, interesting. That's interesting, considering that the water districts all say we're in critical overdraft and the groundwater tables are dropping and all that. We've got water issues there. So, okay, well, let's move on. Let's talk about the project that has been in the news a lot, the zero emission passenger rail. That talk with us a little bit about that. Where is that
Sure.
now, and how can people get involved?
Sure. So, the zero emission passenger rail and trail project was it started really after the 2022 citizens initiative that had to do with the rail line, and our commission, they're not always aligned on what to do with the rail line, but at that time they directed staff to, following the result of that election.
And that was the second measure D, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So that, measure D 2022, it showed that, people want rail, and what does rail look like for our county?
Yeah.
So we proceeded with a study to do a little bit more engineering work and modeling work to answer some of the big questions that the community and the commission have about what rail looks like in our community. And so that's really the purpose of this concept development, is to do a little bit of engineering, quite a bit of cost estimating, and ridership modeling to answer the big questions. And the big questions being, well, how much is it going to cost to build, right? And how much is it going to cost to operate and maintain? And how many people are going to use it? And how long is it going to take for me to get from Watsonville to Santa Cruz, or Santa Cruz to Watsonville? So travel time. So the information we have out now is the concept. It's the this is what rail looks like. It's not the full report yet. We're still reviewing, and we're going to be putting that out in the next couple of weeks. But we've released the executive summary, which really has all the meat in it.
Yeah.
And it's very informative, and it's helpful for us to understand what rail looks like for our community. So, and then at the last meeting, we were directed to do some financial analysis. I mean, I think that there were some concerns about the cost estimates and how expensive this project is going to be for our county to deliver. And so we're in the process of also preparing that financial analysis, and we plan to bring that to the commission at our next meeting in August.
Can you talk about those price tags? I've seen them, and they've been in the news a lot. But can you talk about the price tags and how that came to be?
Sure. Well, our line is pretty unique in that it is a single track freight railroad in its current use. The condition is not very good. A lot of the infrastructure is at the end of its useful life, and needs to be replaced, including the track bed and most of the bridges. And we are unique in that our line has many bridges that span over waterways, and the topography in Santa Cruz. I mean, I think we have a total of 37 bridges throughout the 32-mile line that goes from Davenport to Pajaro. So that's pretty unique. That's a lot of infrastructure. And so, in talking to our peer agencies elsewhere, whenever I bring that up, they're always very surprised because, they have a handful of bridges. We have maybe triple the amount of bridges. So that, that's unique to Santa Cruz. That's unique to our branch line. And that is one of the main reasons why the cost is what it is, because it's, the infrastructure is, there's a lot of it, and it's not in very good shape. So the total project cost is about $4.3 billion, and that was including the capital cost, which is how much it costs to actually, build the facility, as well as the support costs and all the things that go into it.
The
Right.
staging for construction and all of that. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that, I mean, to have a functioning rail transit facility, we would have to build a pretty sizable maintenance and operation facility, which is like, I was looking at the plans and the information. It's, over 20 acres of land we would need to acquire and build multiple buildings. And that's, I suppose that was what was the most surprising to me. I didn't realize it was going to be that big of an undertaking. But that's included in the
Yeah.
price tag, and it's essential to have that so that we can effectively function, right, and
Yeah.
operate.
Yeah.
So
Can Santa Cruz County RTC partner with Monterey County? I know they've got that rail yard down there in Pajaro that they're looking at actually making a passenger rail station at. That's a pretty big piece of land. Is that a possibility to partner with them?
So we are very involved with the TAMC Pajaro Station project. We're
Yeah.
partnering with them on that. They don't own all the right of way out there. Union Pacific Railroad owns a lot of the property out there, and there's not a lot of surplus, like extra right of way laying around.
Yeah.
And if we would need our own facility, basically. Yeah, but it would need to be in South County. That would make the most amount of sense. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And hopefully that would encourage the passenger rail to really serve South County. I
Right.
see that's where the need is the greatest, really. Would it, I suppose something like this would all be done in phases like the highway lane widening is done. Do you have any sense where, if this project were to be approved, which end of the line would start?
Sure. Yeah, and you're right. This large of a project, it would be, it would need to be phased, definitely. The way that, the likely phasing sequencing would go, because the Pajaro Station, they're a little bit ahead of our project because they're doing their environmental analysis right now. And we haven't quite started that. That's really the crucial connection to the state rail network for our line. And that connection is what makes our line make the most amount of sense to our funding partners at the state level and the federal level. And so for those reasons, I would envision that we would build it probably from south to north. And then having the maintenance and operation facility be a part of that first phase. And build it out for the full system, but as the first phase of the project, and then work our way north from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then there's the operational costs.
Right.
And that's what people are scratching their heads. I think it was $41 million a year.
Correct.
Talk with us a little bit about that and how the RTC might fund that.
Yeah. So we worked with our consultants and with our partner agencies in Metro, and we've been discussing that, the estimates for that. It was difficult to estimate because, there's so many factors that could go into these numbers. And
Sure.
so the 41 million is, it's on the higher end of our estimate where we estimated, but, for our county, I think it's realistic to assume a little, on the higher end because of cost of labor and multiple factors that are unique to Santa Cruz. So yeah, just knowing like how much a half cent generates, a half a cent Measure D generates about 27 or 28 million a year. So, so it's, we would need more than half a cent to operate and maintain this facility after it's built. So, there's all kinds of steps that need to happen
Yeah.
to get to that point.
Yeah.
And the voters, it's uncertain what their appetite is for taxing ourselves. A half a cent for Measure D was difficult to get because it wasn't our first time trying to go to the ballot. We had tried to do transportation measures prior to Measure D in 2016, so could possibly take multiple attempts at the ballot. But there's a lot of uncertainty around that, and part of that is going to be included in the financial analysis because not only do we have to pay for the operation and maintenance once it's complete, but we also need to have a local match for the construction of the project. And if you think about 20% being the minimum local match for construction, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
We have to work that into our local new funding source, and currently our only option is to have sales tax because our agency, that's the only kind of revenue generator that we're able to do currently, but we're exploring other possible revenue generating strategies too, to see, we would need like some sort of legislation to pass for us to be able to collect other types of taxes. But so currently, I mean, the likely revenue generator is a sales tax.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's any talk about doing something similar to what the Land Trust did with Measure Q to get a parcel tax, calling it a citizen initiative to address concerns around water, wildfire, parks, and that was able to get passed with a 50% plus one. Is the RTC looking at partnering or encouraging any, I guess, nonprofit groups like what the Land Trust did?
Not really at this time. We, we'll see how the commission and the community, at the end of the concept report, like what are our next steps and what's our appetite to move forward and what kind of funding is available to continue with environmental, because we still have to do the environmental analysis, which is very difficult to get grant funding for. So we kind of have to
fund that on your own.
Yep. We have to fund that on our own, most likely. We're always looking for grants and we're pretty successful at getting them. But the reality of it is there's just not a lot of grant opportunities out there for, like, say, to fund environmental. So yeah, it's, we've got a ways to go before we actually need to start thinking about, a measure and all of that. We tend to wait until we have an approved project to put something on the ballot because we want to show the taxpayers what they would be getting.
Some assurance of what their money would get.
Right.
Yeah.
And that tends
Thank
to
you.
be,
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we definitely, like, for example, Measure D, we have an expenditure plan that's very defined, right? And that's important because it builds trust with the taxpayers and, this is what you voted for and this is what you're getting. So same deal. So that would be probably a 2030 time frame or later, depending on availability of funds to complete the environmental analysis.
Oh, wow. So it's still a ways out.
It's a ways out. Yep.
Wow. Can anything be done to use the rail in the meantime, like a bus converted to rail or PRTs, something like that?